But you know what? Anybody can hit 98.
As former players, there's an expectation. Trevor Bauer, I'm a big fan of him and his
Big fan
emotions.
for him. I like Joe Kelly. This is a must-win year for the Dodgers. And Mookie Betts and Clayton Kershaw, their salary is like $28 million. This is the Up Class Sports Podcast. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Clayton Vecting with Upper Class Sports. Here with me, as always, is Coach Klung, Mr. Nick Klung-Resetter.
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you, Clayton. Good to talk to you. Rocking that Packers jersey.
Hey, the Packers are on right now. They're dominating. It's a good day.
I saw a highlight right before we jumped on the call. Looks like Rodgers is doing his thing. He's still got it.
You know what? He's doing his thing, and you know what? He needs to. And if he didn't beat this weak San Francisco team, I would have been very depressed.
Yeah,
very depressed. But hey, you know, he's doing well. So we have got a good show for you today. I am super excited. We are talking steroids.
Yep, steroid era.
Steroid era. I mean, steroid era saved baseball, man.
It did. That was going to be my first talking point is steroids, you first hear about them, real bad. Ruins the integrity of the game, but at the same time, after the strike in 95, baseball is kind of in a tough place, and then you get Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Jose Canseco just launching balls.
Yeah.
People don't care what they're on. They just want to see balls flying. Get fans in the stands.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I mean, when you just think of steroids, and I don't know, there's been documentaries and then, different studies that have came out about steroids and how bad it is for your body. Like,
yeah,
it's just not, I mean, just number one, it not being good for you, but
yeah,
I mean,
that's the biggest one.
You know what it did for baseball. I think it's, extremely interesting. I think it's going to be something fun to talk about. So, for those of you who may not know, steroids were not illegal in baseball until people started doing them. So, it's crazy. I guess I wanted to talk about like when the suspicion started. When did baseball finally start catching on that there's something going on, just looking around and stuff like that. It started with Jose Canseco back in 88. Back in 88 when he's the first baseball. I mean, baseball had been around since in 88. Baseball had been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball had been around a long time. And, Canseco's the first player to have a 40-40 season, 40 home runs, 40 stolen base season. Like, not only that, but he looks like he could have freaking been.
He looks like a cartoon character.
It just
looks like a cartoon character. Dude,
you start wondering, like, what is this guy doing differently compared to the rest?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Canseco, man, just a freak of nature. That dude was unbelievable. Was he so refresh me, you may know, was he the one who broke a bat over his head? Or was that Bo Jackson?
I know Bo Jackson was pretty famous for breaking bats. I think Canseco broke one over his head as well. I think they both broke them a lot.
I'm not saying Bo Jackson did steroids. I don't think he did, but
no, that guy was just a gifted athlete.
Yeah,
but Canseco definitely did. I know he had the baseball go off his head for a home run. I don't know if he ever broke a bat over his head.
Do you think that had anything to do with steroids? He just had some fat head that did.
Yeah, no. I think the head was a big target at that point because if you didn't know, steroids make your head grow. So it was a big target for that fly ball that day.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. On your point, the steroids. I got a couple stats for it. Is they weren't officially illegal until 91, and even then there was some gray area things.
A lot of gray area.
Like Mark McGwire and a lot of the other guys started jumping on it. Was androstenedione was legal during this whole time. It wasn't illegal until after 2003.
Yeah.
So when
Well,
everyone says,
2003 is when they finally started testing players,
yeah,
which is crazy. Just let's stick on that. Just that
mm,
timeline, 91 to 2003. I mean, people are they're or baseball players. Some of them are now doing steroids.
yeah.
MLB had to know something was going on,
Well, they did. They
and
100% did.
I mean, I know baseball was kind of down in terms of like ratings and in terms of like fans in the stands. I mean, one of those things or things they say in baseball is, we don't want to show up for a pitcher's duel. We don't want to see
Yeah.
pitchers throw a jam. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see guys striking out. They show up for the long ball. I mean,
Yep.
that's what people come to the ballpark for, is to see guys hit homers. And I think when the dudes are starting to hit homers. I mean, McGuire, hitting 50 home runs in a year, Ken Griffey Jr., all that kind of stuff. That drew people to the ballparks, man. That drew
Yeah.
people's eyes to the TV.
And then the Sosa McGuire home run race of '98, trying to beat who's going to beat Mantle Amaris's record of 61.
Yeah.
People didn't care how big and cartoonish these guys looked. They cared about how far the balls were flying and how many were flying out of the stands.
You know what, McGuire, man. I don't know. Did you watch that? What was it? That documentary thing that just came out like a couple months ago or whatever. Maybe it was even a year ago. I don't know. Of the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa home run race.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. I just remember watching
dude,
it.
looking at because I was a big fan. I remember watching the home run race. Like I remember it. My favorite player was Sammy Sosa growing up because of that home run race. And my brother and I, we were both in competition. Like he loved Mark McGuire, I love Sammy Sosa. So it was always like, oh, McGuire hit another one, I'd be pissed. Yeah. And then Sosa tied him. Oh, Sosa passed him. He'd be pissed. And yeah, I mean that was insane. But like just thinking about it, I didn't realize how freaking massive Mark McGuire was until I saw this documentary. Because I haven't looked up Mark McGuire in 15 years. Just haven't even looked. And so now that I'm a lot older now, like looking at Mark McGuire, watching the home run race back in that documentary, it's just like insane how freaking massive that dude was. He had like 20-inch biceps, dude. Like
his arms were huge. Those
like
forearms, man.
His arms were like they're bigger than my legs, dude. Like
truly.
Unbelievable. And I mean, I'm a skinny guy, but still, like unbelievable how big that dude was. And like for MLB to like let it go, it's like they didn't care, dude. They just wanted to see people in the stands.
Well, that was the thing, is what he was doing was legal. Because during the home run race, they did an interview with him, and someone saw his bottle of Andro in his locker. Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, I do Andro. It's legal. There's no problem with it. It's not a banned substance." But then I got a quote here that talked about your point of someone had to have known.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn, one of the best hitters of all time, was quoted in 1995 saying that it's talking about steroids. It's like the big secret we're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
The players knew, the owners knew, the managers knew.
Yep.
Everyone knew it was just a secret. They're like, just don't talk about it. We all know it's happening. Because how could you not?
Yeah, and I don't know if this is still attached because I got this same quote from Tony Gwynn. It's funny. He said, we all knew of players who use steroids. All y'all knew. We knew, players knew, owners knew, everybody knew, and we didn't say anything about it.
Yep. Yeah,
everybody just kept their mouth shut. They were just like, whatever. Like that's just a part of, like it was kind of like they accepted it as like it's just a part of the game, and it was just a part of that era. It just was what it was.
Yeah, because it was certain things were legal.
Yeah,
that's why when all the guys started getting popped and caught, they all started thinking, "Well, I did Andro because it was legal at the time."
Yeah,
that was the big cover, because that's even what McGuire came out and said 2010. Finally was like, I did things, but I did stuff that was legal at the time.
Yeah.
And then when Piazza got caught, I did stuff that was legal at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bagwell's a Hall of Famer. He said the same thing. I did it in 1998. I did Andro because it was legal at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just that gray area, and then finally baseball was like, we're not going to have any more gray area.
Yeah.
They started banning things.
Yeah. Yep. But
So I know we both think it was good for the game in terms of it brought fans and revenue. What do you think about the Hall of Fame and the ramifications it has for the Hall of Fame and the integrity of the Hall of Fame?
you know what? The way I look at it is if if they're going to keep those guys out of the Hall of Fame, they should have done something about it when it was happening. That's what's frustrating to me is it's like you're going to keep a guy like Mark McGwire, Roger Clemens, like all these guys who were absolute studs, like regardless steroids or not, but they were doing the steroids during that era, and MLB knew about it and did absolutely nothing about it for their selfish gain of trying to get fans in the stands and whatnot. That to me, it's like, okay, you turned a blind eye to it, but now you're going to say, well, you can't, you're not a Hall of Famer. That's the part that's frustrating to me. They turned the blind eye from 91 to 2003, didn't say a word about it because they wanted fans in the stands.
Yeah.
They turned a blind eye to it for their own selfish gain. But now when it comes down to these guys being Hall of Famers, now all of a sudden it's like, nope, they cheated.
Yeah. When it was profitable for the MLB, they're like, no, nothing's happening.
Yep.
But now when it's time for the players to get theirs, to get their immortality,
Yep.
and they'll be like, whoa, 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 but you cheated. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, especially when they've let guys in that were part of that steroid era.
Yeah.
They had the big, flashy Canseco, McGuire, Bonds, big cartoonish-looking dudes. But Jeff Bagwell got in, Mike Piazza got in, Pudge got in. Not quite on the steroids, but Tim Raines, who acknowledged being a cokehead, he's in.
Yeah.
So for them to say that anyone that was part of the steroid era was part of any kind of PEDs can't get in, it's, well, you're wrong because they're letting people in. But yeah, there's a whole list of some of the best players statistically.
Yeah.
Bonds, McGuire's, Sosa's, Clemens, Pettit, all these guys that their numbers say Hall of Fame, their careers say Hall of Fame, but because they were part of that steroid era when MLB let it happen, now MLB's not letting it happen. So I think as fans, we don't want to see it because it messes with the integrity.
Yeah.
MLB let it happen. So if you're going to let it happen then, like you said, you let it happen then, you should let it happen now.
So, okay, I understand that you feel like they should be able to go in just like I do. I think their numbers don't lie, all that kind of stuff. And they did it before MLB even, decided to start testing for it. Yeah, sure, it was illegal, but they didn't test for it. They turned a blind eye to it. They didn't punish the guys in the moment or during that time. They let a whole 12-year span go by before they even did anything about it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in agreement that we believe that because of that they should be Hall of Famers.
Yeah, because I mean, other guys, if you're gonna cut it off from when you know they started doing steroids.
Yeah.
If you want to be strict about it, say, okay, he got caught in 2003. 2003, take away all of his stats. Was he Hall of Famer minus 2003?
And that's where I'm going to ask the question about now. A-Rod. He knew.
Yeah, he knew the rules. He got caught, and so then it's just tough because you can't get rid of his entire career because he didn't get caught for his entire career. He got caught for a certain time.
Yeah.
So do you get rid of that season? Is he still a Hall of Famer? So I just think that's the hardest part, is with the way the MLB let it happen for so many guys. If you want to be strict about it, you got to say, well, you got caught in 2003. 2003, that season doesn't count.
So you're thinking that it should be like based if during the time period that they got caught, those numbers should be thrown out, and then it's Hall of Fame based off of this, not just the fact that he cheated.
If just
like regardless of his numbers, he cheated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, do you want a cheater in the Hall of Fame? Now, that's where I'm saying like the Mark McGwire stuff and all that. Like, did those guys cheat? They were all doing it. Like not everybody was doing it, but a lot of those guys, they were doing steroids. So it's like a lot of teams were cheating. I mean, I think every team had somebody who was doing steroids. So it's like they were kind of all cheating because they all knew about it. Like Tony Gwynn said, we all knew. Everybody knew. Nobody said anything about it.
I think the hard part is, they cheated, but they've already put some of those cheaters into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's tough because you set the precedent that steroid PED guys can't get into the Hall of Fame if their numbers are good enough. You got arguably one of the best defensive catchers, Pudge, is in.
Yeah.
One of the best offensive catchers, Piazza, he's in. So I think the MLB's kind of put themselves in a tough spot.
Yeah.
With the way they've kind of blackballed Bonds and McGuire and them for the home run issues for being PED users. But you let other guys in that did it too, just because McGuire and Bonds profited more off of using it. Now they get punished. So it's tough.
Yeah. No, it's very tough. I mean, for me, it's a shame because I mean, growing up, that was like what got me into baseball. That's what made me want to play baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, was that era.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite player growing up was Ken Griffey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And he never really had any issues like that.
Yeah.
But he got hurt. So we don't really talk about him as being one of the greatest hitters anymore. But I think if he would have stayed healthy, I don't think people would care too much about Bonds and McGuire because Griffey would have passed all of them. But that's my personal take.
Griffey was a good dude. He was a good ball player, man.
Yeah.
I just think that it's one of those topics that, I mean, it just depends on the way you look at it. Like, people are going to say regardless they cheated. Like, the fact that they knew that it was illegal in 91 as players, like they knew, and they still did it. MLB turned a blind eye to it. Okay. But the players still did it. That's where you flip flop back and forth. It's like, gosh, they saved baseball. Like, imagine if they didn't do steroids, where would baseball be?
It would honestly probably not be very big at all because, I mean, after the strike in 95, attendance was down. People were kind of like, oh, baseball, it's something to watch when it's on.
Yeah. And then it was kind of when the strike ended, it was the home run race between McGuire and Sosa that just rekindled. And that's where baseball, to me, it pisses me off. It's like they want to keep these guys from being the greatest of all time, asterisks there, because they did steroids. But MLB needed that. They needed that so much to rekindle the flame of baseball and bring the fans back and bring the eyes back to the television to watch the games because, right after the strike, I mean,
the revenue wasn't there, and the home runs
nothing.
Brought the revenue. I would say even the huge contracts we're seeing, Mike Trout wouldn't have his money if it wasn't for the steroids.
Yeah.
They just simply wouldn't have the money.
Yeah, I think baseball now wouldn't be the same if it wasn't for the steroid era. I just don't.
Yeah, I think it's a bad memory if you want to call it that, but it was a necessary one.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, obviously, we don't know what it would have been the opposite. If it wouldn't have been, but from what we see now, like I just don't see. Yeah, I don't see baseball being what it is today without that.
Yeah, and just kind of segueing off of the cheater a little bit is we were both pitchers. I know we both knew quite a few people that had they had pine tar in their bloodlines. They had sunblock and orange juice and orange peels and sandpaper and all that Vaseline. That's still cheating.
You know what? And guys still do it. I mean, gosh, how many times? I mean, at least once a year, somebody's getting caught with something on their hat, something on their glove. I was taught in junior college from my pitching coach. Actually, not even my pitching coach, my head coach. We put Vaseline in our belt loop. So when we were like pulling up our pants or whatever, like grabbing like that, we could get some Vaseline on our thumb on the inside of our pants.
Yep.
Like that's what we were taught, and I mean that wasn't too long ago. That was that was.
I had a guy
10 years ago.
The freshman year at Vanguard. I had a guy who talked about his JUCO, who they had a special catcher's glove for the first and second inning. They had one of the links on the glove was torn, so they
Yeah.
could stuff the balls up that first and second inning. And then they said, "Oh, my glove broke. Switch glove for the rest of the game." But all the balls have been scuffed up now for the pitchers. So it's like it's cheating, but it's not steroids, and that's
Yeah, it's cheating.
you're altering the ball.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it cheating or is it finding a way to get an advantage? I guess that's cheating.
Yeah.
Hey, the old saying goes, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right?
Exactly. I think that's how the steroid era looked. Is guys were like, well, this guy's doing it. I need a contract. If that's what's going to get me a contract and keep me playing, I'm going to do what I have to do.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like this guy's doing it and he's going to beat me. I don't want him to beat me. I want a level playing field. So this guy's doing it, I'm going to do it. Like,
Yep.
Yeah. I think people just saw the freak that Canseco was and they were like, yeah, I'm in. Sold.
Yep.
I mean,
the guy was, like I say, he looked like a cartoon character out there. He was huge.
yeah.
His bat looked like a toothpick.
Well, you know someone who did not look like a cartoon character but still did steroids was Roger Clemens.
Yep, flipping it to the
dude. The dude was so he was a 7-time Cy Young Award winner. He, won 4 Cy Young Awards before he even started doing steroids.
Yeah, that's what when he talked about it. I put it on here too. Is he started taking it in 1998.
Yeah.
To prolong his career because he was one of the guys that started saying it was to stay healthy.
Well, Barry Bonds said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Bonds said the same thing. Yeah, they both. Yeah.
It was to prolong the careers to help them heal faster. That was one of the things A-Rod started saying too. Is it helped him heal.
And so that's and I don't know. I don't know steroids. Like I can't tell you. I know the different. But there has to be different strains or different types of steroids for different things. And it's like the stuff that McGuire was using, that was to get huge.
Yeah.
The stuff that Roger Clemens was using, that was to recover. I mean, Roger Clemens wasn't, he was a big guy, but he wasn't like.
He was like a brick. He wasn't.
If he took his shirt off, he had dad bod. Like.
100%.
Like he was dad bod when he takes off his shirt, but McGuire when he takes off his, he's Men's Health bodybuilder magazine, like
100%. Yeah, so there's different uses, and I think that's why some people got forgiven a little bit. Like A-Rod's an announcer now. People are like kind of cool with him now because he apologized and he said it was to try and recover.
Yeah,
kept playing. He tried to make a comeback not too long ago, but long ago.
Yeah.
So I think it was just the home runs. People said, "Oh, you're a cheater." Oh, but it's just for recovery. Maybe that's okay. So it's
you know what? And this is the stuff that pisses me off. Like, I have a video I did on TikTok. I was talking about A-Rod. I said A-Rod said this, and then I went into my what A-Rod was talking about, and my comments blew up, and they were like, I can't believe you used A-Rod as an example. That guy cheated, blah, blah, blah. It was like so many comments about just hate on A-Rod, and they can't believe that I would use a guy like that, a guy who cheated and all this different stuff. And majority of them are kids who probably heard it from their parents who were like, no, he was a cheater. But it's like, cheating or not, like he cheated for 1 year. Or 2 years, I don't know the span, but it was a short time span that he did use steroids. That over the course of his whole career, he played a long time.
Yeah,
the dude was good. Like I don't want, I can't look at it and go, they did steroids, that's why they were good. These guys were good. Like I'm sorry, Barry Bonds he probably had the best eye in baseball.
100%.
And I'm sorry, hitting a baseball and squaring it up perfectly, regardless of how strong you are, like he would have still been a stud. He would have still probably been one of the best hitters in the league. Sure, he probably wouldn't have hit 765 or 700, almost 70 home runs. Like he wouldn't have hit that many. Sure, got it. But he still would have hit a lot of bombs.
Yeah.
He was doing it early in his career. He was hitting a decent amount of home runs.
Yeah.
So he would have probably ended up with close to 500 or
Yeah.
more. That's still a phenomenal hitter, but people overlook that and go, no, but he did steroids.
Yeah.
And that's disappointing to me. It's like,
you just blink and say, no, I did steroids.
Steroids don't make you a better hitter. They make you stronger. They help you recover faster.
Like you said, hitting a ball, you can't hit a ball with a steroid. It might go a little bit farther, but you still got to hit it. So, like you said, I think Bonds still would have had at least 500 because he was pure one of the best hitters of all time.
Yeah.
But steroids adds 100 feet or so.
Some people's arguments, whenever I've talked about it, they said, yeah, but the steroids made him faster. He had faster hands.
Because he's stronger, maybe.
So, but still, I still think Barry Bonds would have had a Hall of Fame career had he not done steroids.
I agree. 100%. He might have been known more for his average and for stealing bases as the home run champion, which is what he wanted. He wanted to be the home run champion. But I think regardless, he still would have been one of the best players, one of the best base stealers or hitting for average players of all time.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, steroids, like you said, they don't make you have a better eye. They don't make you have better discipline.
No, absolutely. And I mean, even before Barry Bonds started hitting all of his big home runs and stuff like that, and they started walking him 150 plus times a year, like intentionally, he still walked a lot. And I mean, he always had a decent batting average. Like, I just don't think – I think those home runs turn into doubles.
Yep.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are still going out regardless. Like,
yeah, they're still going out. Just add a little bit more distance, a little more velocity maybe.
Yep. Those 500-foot bombs now turn into 450-foot bombs. It's still a bomb.
Exactly.
Like, it's still a bomb. But yeah, for me, I think in terms of Hall of Fame, man, I say let them in. They saved baseball's butt. I mean, yeah, I can't imagine like even trying to think about where baseball would be right now without that.
Yeah, I mean, baseball needed it.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, if they want to punish them, but still let them in, you could put a steroid era section of Cooperstown and put the guys in there.
There you go. I'm all for it, man. I don't give a crap.
MLB can be like, see, you're in the bad wing, but they're like,
you're in the Hall of Fame.
In the Hall of Fame.
Still a Hall of Famer. The steroid era.
You saved baseball.
Yeah. Thank you for saving baseball. At least give a thank you. My gosh, like for 12 years, you turn your eyes away from it and ignore it, and yeah, insane, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I think just a little segue I want to go off of, just because I saw it the other day and it was like, oh, that might be a reason why. You don't see too many guys getting popped for it now with the recovery reasons.
Yeah.
And you think it has to do with guys like LeBron and Russell Wilson who spend $1 million to heal and recover.
Yeah.
I saw that the other day. I was like, dang, man. That's why the guys don't need it anymore, is they can
the technology's there.
Technology. Yeah.
Yeah, the technology's there, man. I mean, if Mark McGwire and all those guys, well, maybe not Mark McGwire, he was trying to get big, but like if Roger Clemens and Alex Rodriguez and, all those guys, and Barry Bonds even said he used it for recovery, like those guys, if they would have had the technology today, would they have used it? That's a great question.
Yeah, if they had the technology and stuff that LeBron and Russell Wilson use to keep their bodies prime, maybe they wouldn't have done it, but it's part of the times. At the time they played, they used what they had to perform their best. And nowadays, LeBron and Russell Wilson, they have the technology and care to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So they can be at their peak performance.
Yeah. Gosh, it's a good topic, man. This is one that makes your head spin, man. You start thinking, you're thinking one way and you're like, oh yeah. And then, oh no, I think, oh no, it should go this way. It's like, it's a constant zigzag in my brain right now, man.
Yeah.
This is one of those topics that I think that is, I mean, it's always going to be a hot topic in sports. I think it's one of the hottest topics in all of sports.
Yeah. That one, and one that we have another episode lined up for, the Astros and Pete Rose.
Yeah,
That's a whole episode we have planned where those are always going to be hot topics.
always, always, always. Yeah, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just gonna say it now. He should be in the Hall of Fame regardless. I
I
don't care.
I agree. I think people that know baseball, really know baseball, agree he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. I can't wait to dive into that one. But
Yeah, that's going to be a fun episode. We'll have to find someone maybe that's on the opposite side to argue with.
yeah, I'd love. Yeah, let's definitely do that. So, well, steroids, good, bad. What do you think? I mean, I think we're both on the side of. I mean, MLB let them do it, man. MLB let them do it. They didn't say anything for a long time. So MLB should let them be Hall of Famers, I think.
Let them in. I mean, you can't profit off of them and then restrict their time to shine.
100%. Or they're, not restrict, them getting what they deserve. I mean, it was because of them.
Yeah.
Like, at least show them the gratitude,
Yep. And just be even with it. You can't let some in and not all of them.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, right on, man. Hey, like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this episode. We got a lot more coming. We got a lot more coming.
Talk about. Let us know what you want us to talk about, guys.
Super, super excited about this. Klung, as always, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Clayton. Have a good night, everybody. Or good day whenever you're watching it.
Good evening, good night, good morning. Peace.